Going to make a honey corn muffin. It goes good with some greens like collard greens, turnip greens, you know, kale. Well, we don't do kale too much, but anyway, any type of green, cornbread goes perfect with it. These are the ingredients that you will need. 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 sticks of butter, which is equivalent to 1 cup of butter, 2 eggs, 1 cup of leche, that is milk, a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of honey, 3 teaspoons of sugar. Need a good sized mixing bowl. You will need good old whisk. You're going to need a muffin pan to melt this butter up. Your cup of cornmeal, your cup of flour, pour those in there together. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And you hit it with this right here, your baking soda, right here. 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to whisk all these dry ingredients together. So you mix that all together, right? Remember that butter that we said we're going to melt? We melted that. This right here. Pour that in there. 1 cup of that. 1 cup of the leche. That's milk in Spanish for those that don't know. And I'm telling you, Jiffy ain't got nothing on this. 2 huevos, 2 eggs. 3 teaspoons of sugar to that mixture. The featured guest, honey. Oh man. Just greasing up our muffin pan with a little bit of vegetable oil. And ladle this cornbread, honey cornbread batter into this muffin pan right here. 1 ladle of that into that pan, and we'll go ahead and drop this inside the oven for about a good 25 minutes. Here are your honey cornbread muffins. Moment of truth. Let's eat this corn muffin right here. Whoa, Nelly. Where my greens at? Tonight I'm going to show you how to make homemade flaky biscuits. So here is what you will need. Some flour, some sugar, some salt, baking powder, unsalted butter. You will need some milk. Our homemade biscuits are done. Would you feast your eyes on that? That's good. So I figured I'd make me some coleslaw. So here you guys have some good old head of cabbage. I'm not going to eat this whole thing because I can't eat all that coleslaw. First of all, take off the wilted pieces of the cabbage. Let's cut around the core of that. Cut around the core. Let's do that. Go ahead and rinse this cabbage off because you don't know what lies inside of it. So we're going to cut this on up. I like to cut mine kind of fine. Yeah, man. It's going to be lit. Crazy thing is I tried to find some red cabbage. Couldn't find any. I'm like, what is that all about? Seems like there's a shortage on everything nowadays, doesn't it? So I'm going to cut this up real fine. Right, I got to pull out my Santoku knife for this. I want it fine. I want it fine. Here I have some nice shredded carrots. I'm going to rinse these off, and I'm going to cut them just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. They're already shredded, but I just want them a little bit finer, make it fine. All right, so now that all the prep work is out the way, we done chopped up all of our, what is this right here? What is it? Our cabbage, yeah. What happened? Our cabbage and our carrot. We chopped that up nice and fine, made it fine, make it on the finer side. So now we're going to work on our dressing, which will consist of mayonnaise, some distilled white vinegar. So I have a couple of teaspoons of granulated sugar, a little bit of celery salt, some garlic powder, some ground black pepper. I'll be using this right here. Onion powder. We'll go ahead and drop our vinegar in here. About a quarter cup of. Now, normally this would call for Dijon mustard, but because I have yellow mustard and I don't have Dijon mustard, we're going to improvise. So we're going to put about a teaspoon of that in there. I'm going to put roughly about 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar in there. Hiya! You hit it with some of this right here, that little good old celery salt that I told you about. This right here, your garlic powder. Sprinkle some of that in there. Ground black pepper. Sprinkle some of that in there. And then we're going to hit it with this right here, onion powder. Sprinkle about a teaspoon of that in there. Whisk all of that together. Because I didn't want my dressing to be too tart, I figured I'd add about 3 more tablespoons. So roughly 5 tablespoons of mayonnaise. All right, so now that we've whisked up our good old sauce for our coleslaw, take this right here, toss it in that right there. Do that right here. It's crunchy, it's semi-sweet, it's delicious, it's good. Now, if you feel fancy, add you some raisins to it. Some like it like that. I'm not doing that tonight because that's not what I want. See how that sauce just sopped all up on top of that carrot?